Hey everyone, I'm Evan Portman with Emerging Civil War, and I'm here with Dan Davis, who just gave a great presentation on Cold Harbor. And I wanted to ask you, everyone knows Cold Harbor for, the last assault by Grant, and, he gets the nickname Butcher Grant. But from what I understand, that's not totally completely true. So do you have anything to kind of myth bust or anything about that?
Yeah, maybe not so much myth bust, but just I think sort of remind folks that Cold Harbor's not just the June 1st and of course the June 3rd attack that you talked about. It's a series of fighting that leads up to that particular moment in time that really starts when Grant pulls away from the North Anna River, May 25th, May 26th, going several days into the future with fighting at Hoss Shop, Totopotomoy Creek, Bethesda Church, before both Grant and Lee really begin to start thinking about the intersection at Cold Harbor. But as you mentioned, it is the fighting on June 3rd that gets the most attention. And recent scholarship within the last 10 to 15 years tends to point to the fact that Grant did not lose the 6,000 men in 6 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on what historians' work that you read, that those 6,000 men probably fell in the course of two different assaults on 2 different days. And those casualties are combined from those 2 days.
And how does Cold Harbor kind of fit in the the greater context of the 1864 Overland Campaign, or even just 1864 in general?
It becomes the last battle in the Overland Campaign. Of course, the commanders aren't thinking about that at the time, but over the last month of fighting, May 5th in the Wilderness to June 3rd in Cold Harbor, Grant has battered away at Robert E. Lee and the Army of Northern Virginia at those 4 battlefields: Wilderness, Spotsylvania, North Anna, and then finally at Cold Harbor. And Grant has found that he's not been able to really crack the armor. He's been able to land some blows, but has not been able to land that knockout punch that he's been looking for, I think, going back to Spotsylvania. And it forces Grant to change his strategy. He looks from Cold Harbor not so much as to destroy Lee's army, but he starts looking at Lee's supply situation. He starts looking at Lee's logistics, and he decides to shift. Instead of going after Lee in the field, he's going to go after Lee's logistics, and that logistical hub is at Petersburg. To the grand scheme of 1864, it's a little bit deeper, I think, because at that time, the Republicans are meeting in Baltimore as the fighting is taking place to renominate Abraham Lincoln to run for president. Remember, 1864 is an election year. You're in June. The election is in November. And what happens at Cold Harbor and across Virginia and Georgia, North Georgia, is going to play back home with the voters and how they view the war, view Lincoln, and view how Lincoln's war effort is going forward and what trajectory it's on.
Gotcha. And then just kind of shifting gears here, what does Emerging Civil War mean to you? And what do you kind of think of when you hear ECW?
I think of it as a start. I think all of us look for an opportunity to publish, to write about something we're passionate about. And I got my start with Emerging Civil War, and that has helped carry me to where I am now with the American Battlefield Trust.
Sweet. Well, thanks again for your time and a great presentation, and we'll see everyone online and on the battlefield.